Hey everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you are new to the CB Camper channel. My name is Jim. My wife and I and Lynn have been campers our whole lives, and we are retired for the second time now and traveling around full-time our beautiful country. This week we're in Huntsville, Alabama. We're staying at the Redstone Arsenal RV Park. It's a nice campground. We had some crazy weather this week though. Some heavy rains, thunderstorms, the flooding, including the campground. We were fine, but some tenters were very unhappy. Yeah, don't tent unless you're very young and resilient. Anyway, one of the highlights of this week was our visit to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, and the Museum of Rocketry. You know, is where the team that developed, built, and tested the rockets that brought our men to the moon and also powered a generation of strategic ballistic missiles were born. I'm fascinated by the life of Wernher von Braun, and he was the person in charge of the building rockets for the Nazi Party in World War II, and actually started before that. And he was so far ahead, he and his team, of anyone else in the world. And if you're not familiar with the history of the last year or so of World War II, they were bombing London with impunity by sending rockets from Germany, which would then make it over to England and blow up. And if we hadn't pummeled Germany's industrial might the last year of the war, he would have been able to finish building the rocket, the newest version of the rocket, which was going to go all the way to the eastern coast of the United States. They had New York and Washington, D.C. and other spots in their sights. But Wernher was shrewd, if nothing else, and as the war was ending, he recognized that, and he took all of his best scientists and engineers, and they hid in a chalet up in the hills. And when the Americans were coming by, he sent a representative to them and formally surrendered, he and his entire team, and asked for asylum in the United States, where we quickly brought him and whitewashed his past as best we could, and then put him to work building rockets for us. It's a fascinating story, and is a fascinating life story for him, and certainly, and just the enormity of what they accomplished in the 50s and 60s with the technology that was available to them is just mind-boggling. I used to use a throwaway line in a sermon sometimes that said that your newest phone has a stronger and faster and more capable computer than the one that took the Apollo astronauts to the moon, and that's absolutely true. And the fact that they did that with what they had at the time, and now we're struggling to do that 50 years later, is at least a little ironic. So let's take you first to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville. I got some video from there and some pictures to show you. It's an enormous place, and I didn't get any pictures of it, but it's also the place where space camp is. When you hear about kids going to space camp in the summer, this is where they go. And the comprehensive nature of what they have for them, they learn how to pilot in flight simulators, when some of them, while they're at space camp. It's just amazing stuff to watch these kids walk around just smiling and in awe of all the things they're seeing. Space camp, awesome sauce. So, all right, here we go. We're going to go to the Space and Rocket Center, and then I've got a surprise for you after that. On we go. here's the Saturn V rocket, actual size, and it's just difficult to get the enormity of this into a video. So here you go. Say hi, Lynn. So just for scale, here's Lynn. And here's the business end of a Saturn V. It goes that way a long ways.
And what is it that put America in the forefront of the nuclear nations? And what is it that will make it possible to spend $20 billion of your money to put some clown on the moon? Well, it was good old American know-how, that's what. As provided by good old Americans like Dr. Wernher von Braun. Gather round while I sing you of Wernher von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Nazi schmatzi, says Wernher von Braun. Don't say that he's hypocritical, say rather that he's apolitical. Once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Wernher von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Wernher von Braun. You too may be a big hero, once you've learned to count backwards to 0. In German or English, I know how to count down. Und I'm learning Chinese, says Wernher von Braun.
One quick postscript on the Space and Rocket Center video before we move on. When you were looking at the picture of Dr. von Braun in his office, in the middle of the video you heard a song, and I just want to, in case you're not familiar, explain that that song is by Tom Lehrer, who was a Harvard professor who wrote political and cynical ditties in his spare time and ended up producing several albums of them, which growing up as a kid in the 60s and 70s, we heard on Dr. Demento every week. That's who first turned me on to Tom Lehrer. If you're not familiar with his works, beyond Wernher von Braun, there's songs like The Vatican Rag and Poisoning Pigeons in the Park, and a whole slew of very hilarious and topical songs. So if you can just Google him, Tom Lehrer, and you can find videos of him singing his songs on YouTube from 40, 50 years ago or more. So go check out Tom Lehrer. He's got lots more great things to listen to other than just the song that you just heard about Von Braun. All right, on we go to the next part of our journey. Here we go. So we're hanging out near Huntsville and stumbled across this awesome spot in Madison called Guajana Distillery. Obviously we didn't expect to find authentic Puerto Rican rum heritage in North Alabama, but here we are. The second you walk in, the vibe was just incredibly welcoming and laid back. It didn't feel like a stuffy or commercial factory at all. It literally felt like hanging out in your coolest friend's living room. It's a family-owned place run by a third-generation distiller whose grandfather started out over a century ago. Fun fact, Guajana is the Taino word for the flower of the sugarcane plant, and they make everything right here from scratch using real molasses. We sat down for a flight. They have the Guajana 86, which is an oak-aged spiced rum with notes of warm vanilla and orange peel, but my favorite was the Guajana 89. It's matured in sherry cask, so it's super smooth with deep hints of dark chocolate. We brought home a bottle of that and a bottle of their excellent gin. It was honestly such a fun, easygoing afternoon, and the owners are the sweetest folks. We're always looking to support local small businesses, and this is a great one. It's a unique local spot. Go check them out. Guajana Distillery, Madison, Alabama, just south of Huntsville. Let us know if you go. Well, that's going to wrap up our week in Huntsville. We had a blast there. The Space and Rocket Center was awesome. We saw lots of great local sites. We sort of featured the Guajana Distillery so that you could see that. And hey, I want to be clear about one thing. That wasn't like a paid promotion or something. We did go there. We did sample the rums. We bought rum with our own money and gin and brought it home. So we don't ever take payments or free stuff in order to promote a product or something. We just really thought the distillery was special and what they're trying to do. It's a small family-owned business, and I'm always keen for them to do well and thrive. And so that's it for Huntsville. Another week coming up. Next one might be a little harder because we're going to dig into some history of our country that's not very appealing. So be sure to come back next week. As always, thanks for watching all the way through. Appreciate you so much. Give us a like, subscribe if you're not already. Give us a comment if you want. Share it with your friends, and we'll see you next week. Be well. Take care, friends.